property Sibling Man.
Yo, what up, property peoples? It's your boy, property man, sister, sibling thing. Come back at y'all with another tutorial. Today we're gonna learn how to buy a house. Alright, let's get into it.
Alright, so things we're gonna cover in this video include the process of buying a house and the process of choosing one. First things first, you're gonna have to have a credit score. That's the square root of the integer divided by the circumference and the hypothesis of the 620 is the minimum average amount required, and anything around 700 is perfect, because this way you will be able to acquire a low interest rate on a loan, which is a better or cheaper rate of purchasing a loan, which allows you to spend much less money long term. Once you've checked this, it's time to evaluate your sources. Do you have a steady or reliable income? Or are you working at Burger King? Do you make adequate money? Or are you working at Burger King? Do you get paid? Or are you working at Burger King? Do you treat people nicely? Or are you working at Burger King? Next, make sure you have a low or reasonable debt-to-income ratio, which will be considered when getting a bank loan. This is to make sure you are not swimming in debt, and the lower the percentage, the less hassle there will be when attempting to obtain a loan, specifically a mortgage loan. And yes, you will need a loan, cause ain't nobody got 400, 500 bands in the back of their pockets to slap the seller with. And if you don't know what an interest rate is, it's some number some guy or girl in the cubicle multiplies what you owe them by annually. And if you don't know what a loan is, it's voluntary debt. Now you will apply for a loan, and all the terms of said loan are dependent on things like how much money you are able to put down for the house and your credit. A down payment can range anywhere from 3 to 99% of the house. 100% would simply be you paying in cash and entirely avoiding the loan process. A decent down payment would be 20%, because this would lean the loan more towards your terms and potentially increases your housing budget, whilst avoiding private mortgage insurance, or PMI, which banks will typically put you under if the down payment is less than 20%. And this PMI is just another additional monthly fee apart from interest or principal that is insurance for the bank. Down payment should already have been accumulated from your end over months or years, and an additional 3% of the house price should be reserved for the closing costs of the house. Then you will get pre-approved for a loan, listing out potential budgets and closing costs, and this pre-approval would be your rhetorical appeal. Now it's time to establish a criteria. Convene with family, spouses, children, dogs, not cats, and decide what do you want, what do you need, what do you not want, what do you not need, and that way there is no tension later on. Realtor time. Find yourself a realtor who will represent you. They will help guide you in the process and will be your house and financial advisor. The best part is they will be paid by the seller, unless you have some sort of exterior contract with them. Now it's time to choose the house! Yay! Now you may be asking yourself,
Property Sibling Man, what should I look for when choosing a house?
Well, that's what I'm here for, baby.
first, never buy a house that is one of these colors, because it is ugly and it'll devalue your house by putting a monetary value on it instead of something like photosynthesis, and it deteriorates your vision. I would recommend color as only observable by the mantis shrimp as a color choice. Ultimately, the appearance is your choice. Next, attics and basements are pretty scary, and they tend to breed or attract ghosts, demons, monsters, gamers, Texans. Yeah, so try to avoid these. Also kinda obvious, but Square footage versus lot size. If the square footage of the house itself is greater than its lot size, then your house might just be inverted, and it also might be
The portal to the other world.
Take it from a professional like myself, something economically smart about buying a house would be the cost per square foot. When considering fairly comparable houses, it may be beneficial to examine the price per square foot of the homes to truly find out if you are getting the best value and deal for what you want. Now that I said something that sounded smart, the most important thing would be
The pool.
a pool is a very great feature to have, but does take some good maintenance. It also tends to increase the value or price of the house, which makes buying
A little bit.
harder, but selling
A lot.
easier. It is a great feature to have, especially if you have younger children, and it is practically a necessity if you are human, because, and let's be real here, people really need a pool as an excuse to walk around in their summer bodies. Yeah, why not show off the product of 20 squats and 10 sit-ups a month? You go, girl guy. The age or year built of a house is also a very important factor. Take note of what year a house was built, because one from 1617 may differ greatly in condition from one from 2021. Some older homes may also require more work or touch-ups or maintenance. It is important to ask the owners of any recent fixes or maintenance, including lighting, roofing, pipes, and more, and ask why they were needed, if fixed, to know what exactly you are dealing with. Some older homes may also not comply with contemporary or recent housing regulations and standards, so make sure you are not buying something illegal. Finally, in relation to old houses, make sure it's not haunted. Trust me, you don't want this thing staring at you from the end of your hallway, and you certainly don't want him, her, it thing tugging on your leg at night because your sockless self is sticking out a whole toe from the safety of your blanket. I don't discriminate. Let me catch this thing and boy, I'll beat the outless coming into my home, stupid. Now that you have selected a house based on my conditions, it is time to submit an offer. When making an offer, it is important to include ethos, pathos, and logos in it. Your pre-approval is immediate. Ethos and logos because it reveals that you got that cold hard currency and are able to buy right that week, day, minute, second. Also, involve pathos when putting in an offer too, because many houses are competitive and sellers love stories about how your husband girlfriend is pregnant, or how you're expecting a new dog, or how the dream house has a good rap studio to launch your SoundCloud career, and oh, my heart is just melting mentioning this. Also, be pathetic or considerate of the seller's situation, because in some cases, the seller is selling their homes against their earnest desire. In my family situation, the seller was a mother in the process of divorcing, and she intended to downgrade, so we thought it would be a kind gesture to, in our offer a few extra weeks of free stay for her to effectively move out stress-free, and if she needed more time, the house could be transiently rented at the reducing price of the house. This inclined her to choose us despite receiving multiple other higher offers. Another important step is putting down earnest money. This is money that goes towards the down payment or closing cost of the house and shows that you were serious and not broke about buying the house. However, you can lose this money if you change your financial situation or if you personally back off, because it shows you really weren't serious. Otherwise, this contributes to your ethos and logos. From here, your offer may be rejected, accepted, or negotiated. Once under contract and on the topic of negotiation, it is important to get a house appraised and inspected. That way, if there are any damages or you are significantly overpaying, this may be negotiated down in the form of less payment or credit/cash to you. Use these as ammunition against the seller. Once again, once under contract or under the purchasing period, do not change your financial situation, like taking out other credit cards or beginning to work at Burger King, to avoid losing it all, from the loan to the home itself and your dignity. Long story short, do a final walkthrough and make sure it satisfies your wants and needs, and soon you will get a closing disclosure from your lender on what to bring to closing and the total costs. Then, review all the numbers and make sure they add up, and sign a lot of paperwork to finalize it all. Congratulations, you are now in debt for 15 to 30 years. Enjoy.
It broke.